Hello, everybody. Welcome to Political Football. My name is Dave. I'm here with Scott. Tonight, we'll be drafting a tournament on Underdog Fantasy, the Greyhound. It's a $35 single entry. What we're going to do is Scott is going to make the initial picks for who he thinks. And we're going to go with his picks unless I think they're just absolutely horrendous, in which case I'll use my veto power to take over. So, Scott, we're one pick away. So my question for you is this. If you ended up with the 101, who would you take? All right, Scott. So before the intro, I asked you if you had the 101, the first pick in the entire draft, who would you take?
I would go McCaffrey. Do we have the first pick?
We do not. In fact, we have the fourth pick.
Okay.
As it just popped up here. So let me test this. Let me see.
Question for you while you're testing this. What's the over-under before you use a veto? Like, what round are we in when you use a veto? One?
Probably the third round. If we're being honest,
it'd be so embarrassing.
Okay, we'll try that for the size for right now. Anybody in the chat, if the screen, if you think it should be bigger or whatever, if any sort of better, different view, let me know. And then if we pull up this, perfect. Okay. Also producing the show during the show. So we'll have the 104. Scott, can you see the screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have these in here by my rankings, which I get from Legendary Upside, Pat Corain's website. I can sort them by ADP if you would rather do that.
This is all not all that relevant for me. So you do it where you're comfortable and where you know what you're doing. Like,
well, I always know
you've drafted a bunch already, so make yourself comfortable.
Okay, we're on the clock. So McCaffrey, Lamb, and Hill go off the board. Chase, Jefferson, or Amon-Ra, in my opinion.
I'm going Chase there.
All right, Jamar Chase it is. Fourth overall. That is where he goes by ADP. I have no problem with that. Now, personally, right now I'm in trouble. I am going to end up with a lot of Justin Jefferson. On DraftKings, Amon-Ra has actually flipped Justin Jefferson and goes before him.
Yeah.
And I'm having trouble with this.
I mean, it's just, I think there's an element of unknown. That's with Jefferson. I mean, we
see it this draft too. Breece Hall and Amon-Ra go off the board before Justin Jefferson and Bijan.
Can we trade up? I'm kidding.
Can we trade back? That's what I would do. I'd love to trade down here to get Jefferson at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I think
it's probably overthinking it a little bit, to be honest.
Well, I think we're seeing some weirdness too because it is a single entry draft. So people might be thinking, oh, this is my chance to get weird, to be different. We might try to look to do a little of that later as well. But Justin Jefferson is probably the actual best wide receiver in football. And I get why CeeDee Lamb should go ahead of him. But honestly, I think Jefferson should be the second wide receiver off the board.
It's just, I mean, the Chase Jefferson thing for me was just familiarity with quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that may be a touch overthinking it.
No, I mean,
Jefferson's just so legit.
I think that's very true. So Lamb has his same quarterback. Tyreek has his. Chase has his. Amon-Ra has his. AJ Brown has his. And Garrett Wilson has an obvious upgrade. Right. The only question mark at quarterback is Justin Jefferson. To me, that's offset by a couple of things. First, Justin Jefferson plays like 11 dome games this year.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. And we know that the Vikings offense is going to run through him. But this just means for me, I don't see how I'm going to take Amon-Ra ahead of Jefferson. So I'm going to with a lot of Jefferson, a lot of Amon-Ra personally. I just don't see how I'm able to do that.
It's not like those are bad options, though.
No, but I mean, you have an entire portfolio. You don't really want to be too over underweight either direction. Your boy Marvin Harrison goes at 16th
I think that is bananas.
So here's the question, though, right? At wide receiver, you see the receivers that go before him, right? Lamb Hill, Chase, Amon-Ra Jefferson, Brown, Wilson, Nakua, Drake London. Who are you taking over Harrison there? Are you taking Olave?
No, I think that there's players available that I would take over Harrison.
Would you take Olave, Ayuk, Debo, Nico Collins, Jalen Waddle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the expectation for Harrison as a rookie to put up wide receiver 1 numbers is a little much. It just is.
Okay, we are back on the clock. We have Jamar Chase. So by ranking, Debo is next. Achane is there at running back. Also Waddle, Diggs, Neighbors. Who are you looking at?
Is this best ball?
Yes.
Probably Achane.
Okay, we will take it.
Okay. I think those Miami running backs are great in best ball scenarios where you don't have to worry about pressing the sit start buttons with those guys.
I agree. However, and I like Achane. I have a lot of Achane. I think Achane is great. You can see by ADP, he goes 25th. We took him at 21, where he was in our rankings, right?
Yeah.
But for the cost, like, is Debo Samuel, Jalen Wright better than Devon Achane, Jacoby Myers, whatever wide receiver goes by Jalen Wright? Like, would you rather have Jalen Wright for cheaper?
I don't know, because Mostert is still there, and I think there's got to be some other stuff for Wright to be. I mean, I get where you're coming from because he's a perfect best ball player too. I think coming back in round 3, we're going to get a really good receiver. And I would say in round 4, probably same thing, targeting receiver as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good strategy. I think you're exactly right there. We definitely don't want to fall behind at wide receiver. It gets really hard to catch up. So we're back on the clock here, round 3. Diggs, Malik Neighbors, DJ Moore at wide receiver.
I mean, I'm going DJ Moore there.
DJ Moore it is.
Okay. No veto yet? I'm stunned.
No veto yet. If you had said Diggs, I would have tried to argue it off of it, but not vetoed it.
Yeah.
Part of the thing with these best ball tournaments, is that all the money is won in week 17.
Yeah.
And the playoffs are week 15, 16, and 17. Younger players tend to be doing more in those weeks.
Yeah.
So I get Diggs it. Weeks
1 to 14 really don't matter much.
They matter for getting to the playoffs, but there's not much money to be won there. So with Diggs being the oldest of the 3 Houston wide receivers, the second most expensive, it's not that I don't have any Diggs, but I'd rather have DJ Moore or Malik Neighbors than Diggs. Okay, we're gonna go back to the board here so we can see who's coming off the board. I mean, look at these receivers. So we take Moore, Neighbors goes off, Diggs, Devonta Smith, Michael Pittman. We're still in the 3rd round.
Yeah. Now at this point, are you looking? I know stacking is a huge thing. Are you thinking Burrow because we have Chase, or are we too far away from that?
So we're too far away for Burrow specifically. That's what Paul says here, though, is that guy taking Waddle right before you guys.
Exactly.
Because stacking isn't just with the quarterback, especially in best ball.
Yeah.
Stacking whole offenses is good. Now, you don't want like 6 wide receivers and 3 running backs from the same team.
No, but having Waddle and Achane would have been really nice.
I have some Tyreek, Achane, Waddle starts without Tua. That can be done. So coming back around to us here, only 2 tight ends off the board, Laporta and Travis Kelce, only 2 quarterbacks, Allen and Jalen Hurts. So we're up in 5 picks. I'm going to pull up.
McBride just went. That's a little rich.
That is almost at ADP. His ADP is 44.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. The elite tight ends are way too cheap. But I also think it's a little out of order. Like, Trey McBride ahead of Mark Andrews is weird to me.
Yeah.
So we're up in 3 picks. And you can see why I don't want to fall behind at wide receiver, right? If T. Higgins goes this pick, we're looking at reaching for Christian Kirk at wide receiver 3 if we want to stay at wide receiver. So even though I like Achane, and I think Achane is a great player and a good pick, you can see the issue, right?
Are you not an Amari Cooper guy?
So generally, no. I am in this case, though, because you can see on my little overlay here that he plays Jamar Chase in week 16 and against Devon Achane in week 17.
Okay, I love that correlation. That's nice.
Yes. So because they play in the playoff weeks in this specific build, I'll take Amari Cooper right here at cost. Generally, I'm not taking Cooper. I just think he's a little too expensive.
Yeah.
At that position. But we are going to have an interesting decision when it comes back around. Let's say Andrews won't be there because the guy who took Lamar picks before us, so he'll never let Andrews get past him.
Okay.
Oh, Mark Edwards?
Yeah, same guy.
Yeah. But see, so this guy took Lamar and he picks again before us. So Andrews goes here absolute latest. So we can not even think about Andrews. Do we go with Dalton Kincaid to get the last of the real elite tight ends and risk falling even further behind at wide receiver? Or do we take Christian Kirk, a player that we're it's Christian Kirk. But is Christian Kirk ever going in the second round next year? No, he isn't, right?
Is there any consideration for Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen is also in play. If we go with Keenan Allen, we now have 2 Bears.
Yeah.
Which means that we're kind of in on Chicago, which we can do.
I know.
We could do that if you wanted. So
I don't really want to do that.
Andrews did make it back to us.
Okay. Why would we not take him?
Yeah. Yeah, especially because we don't have a Lamar. And we know the Lamar team doesn't have Zay Flowers, which means that Lamar, who is a dangerous player to not have on your own team, in our initial league of 12 that we have to advance out of in the first 14 weeks, isn't stacked with either of his top 2 options. This is the best sort of Lamar to be going up against.
Yeah.
So through 5 rounds, we have Devon Achane, Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, and Mark Andrews.
And we should continue to take receivers, correct?
Yes. Now, the thing is, Baltimore does play Houston in week 17. So with the benefit of hindsight, it would be great if Achane here was Diggs, because we'd have Diggs versus Andrews, right?
Yeah.
But we should not have expected Andrews to fall to us in this situation. So that's just sort of reflecting, looking back, not really saying we should have done something different.
Yeah. But since you have Andrews, my assumption is that you're going to go 2 tight ends and not any more than that, period.
I mean, it's your draft, but I think that's pretty sharp, right? If you're going to invest that much in tight end.
Yeah, and for the correlation you just spelled out there, is Dalton Schultz a player you would target?
So he could be, but if we look at where Dalton Schultz goes by ADP,
yeah,
which is where are you, Dalton? He's after Ferguson.
He's up at the Roadhouse, kicking ass.
Man, you and your 80s movies. So he goes at 125. So Andrews at 51, Schultz at 125. That works. The Achane pick could make that harder, though. When you see where we're at with wide receiver, when it comes to wide receiver or Schultz,
yeah,
we're like, damn, I wish Achane was a wide receiver now, even though we like Achane. See what I mean?
I mean, I do get it.
Yep.
You just can't. You've mentioned this to us outside of this stuff. You can't fall behind with the receivers. You just can't.
Yeah, it's really hard because somebody else is going to have them. And the reason for people is that the roster construction, each week you start 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a flex, which means you can start up to 4 wide receivers. So those wide receivers become more valuable because you have to start more of them, right? If you had to start 3 quarterbacks, Josh Allen will be the 101.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think of Xavier Worthy?
I think Xavier Worthy is perfectly fine where he's going. Huge bust candidate, especially at this price. Right.
Yeah, he could have later in the season if he flashes and he gets it together.
Yes. But at the price where he's going, he's got to help you advance. He can't just
maybe a pass
later. Well, no, I think he's a fine bet right here, but he's volatile.
I
Okay.
don't want to pick him here. But I don't.
No.
What's his ADP?
Oh, he just went way after ADP. He just went 9. His
Okay.
ADP is like 58. And he just
Okay.
went at 67. We probably would have taken him if he had fallen to us. So we're up with one pick. You can see highlighted on my list, Odunze is an orange because we have DJ Moore. If you want to continue Chicago, Joe Burrow has an ADP of 76. We could try to go Odunze and Burrow and try to pull that off. 7 seconds.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
So Rome it is. No, Rome it is.
And we're looking for Burrow to fall back to us, right?
If we want to do that, we don't necessarily have to because we do have the 2 Bears. We've got Deshaun Watson later, Lord help us. But we don't have many other stacks beyond that. So
Yeah.
I do think if Burrow fell to us right at ADP with Jamar Chase, he's probably worth taking.
Yeah.
That also opens up a very late Mike Gesicki as our second tight end. So like if we don't get
in
Schultz,
Cincinnati now,
yes, he is.
Because they had a guy kind of break out last year.
Yeah, but they signed Gesicki, they draft Eric All. It seems like that the writing might be on the wall for Tanner Hudson.
I know he's more of he's more of a sort of inline sort of tight end where those guys like Gesicki is just a glorified receiver.
Yes, and so the Gesicki goes in like the last round, and it's just please catch 2 touchdowns in week 16.
Yeah,
right. Let that be the week. Okay, yeah. Burrow right here.
Yeah.
The only other option I would consider right here would be JSN because Seattle does play the Bears in week 17. So we should probably be thinking Seahawks at some point. But that opens up Noah Fant later. Yeah. Of course, Ken Walker's gone by this point, but Zach Charbonnet is still out there.
How many running backs are you looking to roster?
That depends on it's a quality versus quantity, but never both. So with Achane, that's pretty quality. So we're probably never going more than 6.
Okay.
And we're probably only going 5. Unlikely to do 4 since we haven't taken the second one yet, but not impossible.
Okay.
We could
when
end up
do you, generally speaking, start to hit at the receiver or the running back position, knowing we don't want to fall too far behind?
Well, the thing is that the running backs, because the wide receivers are so expensive and kind of rightfully so, the running backs are pretty good values all the way throughout the draft. Right. Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes in the last round and is sometimes undrafted. He's just a clear-cut handcuff in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Right. Just no-brainer 18th round pick. So we'll always feel good about the running backs that are available to us. But look at this board when Rashee Rice goes. Look at the wide receivers left.
There aren't any, yeah.
Yeah. And then if we look at the draft board here, look at the orange.
Yeah.
Jesus. But the thing is, I think this is correct. I think the market is finally getting sharper about how to do this. So, quick, since it's not on the screen, who does Cincinnati play in week 17?
No clue.
So they played Denver.
Okay.
So that means that players like Javonte Williams are more important to us than they might generally be.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton is more important to us than he generally might be.
Yep. Marvin Mims late.
Yeah. Mims.
Maybe Dulcich.
Troy Franklin. Dulcich, I'm not really sold on. He's still hurt. Sean Payton doesn't seem to like him. Right. Nathaniel Hackett loved him. Dulcich it's in real danger of being just an absolute zero. So until we get some sort of later news that he's in the mix, I'm just kind of avoiding him right now. Let's see here. So we are up in 4 picks.
So we have we have the Cincinnati stack.
Yep.
Where are we with Zach Moss and Chase Brown?
I don't really rate Zach Moss personally. In fact, I think I have like almost 0%.
Okay.
Because he sucked forever, then had 5 good games, and then sucked again. And Chase Brown was a very athletic prospect. Did not get the draft capital I wanted last year, but did flash in his limited opportunities. So, like, which one of these players is going to be going 3 rounds sooner next year is never Zach Moss. And since we're trying to compete to win $30,000 in week 17, like, we want, if we're going to take a Bengals running back, let's take the one that could establish themselves as a strong pick next year. Yeah. Right? Who's going next to Travis Etienne next year? It ain't Zach Moss.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we are back on the clock. So we have Tony Pollard, who does play against the Bengals in week 15. Caleb Williams for the double stack. Zach Moss to go with the Bengals. Who do you like?
Do you think Pollard has any life left?
This is you. 9 seconds.
Pollard. Hate it. Hate it.
Tony Pollard it is. So there's only a couple reasons why I would pass on Pollard there. If you hate Tony Pollard, then you almost by default really like Tyjae Spears.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, one of them's going to do something. Because at running back, you just need to be on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to have a long leash. So it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like he's going to lay a dud in week 1 and they're just going to go somewhere else.
Right.
It's just, I've never been a big Tony Pollard guy. But he does have upside in that offense.
Yeah, and he ran really bad at the goal line last year.
Yeah.
Both like literally and in the figurative sense. And he probably should have had like 7 more touchdowns than he did. And if he did, people would think a lot more highly of him.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the clock at 1 pick. We have a lot of good options here. We have Caleb Williams, assuming this guy doesn't take him, right at ADP with 2 Bears. We have Javonte Williams to go with the Cincinnati stack in week 17. And we have a little further down.
What are your thoughts on Jamison Williams in best ball stuff?
Great, but he doesn't fit this team more than any of those other players.
Caleb Williams it is.
Okay. Right. So, like,
and then we're going to take, if he's available, DeAndre Swift at some point shortly. Even though he sucks.
I mean, that's a thing. We could just take Khalil Herbert way later.
We could do that too.
Right. So now we have Joe Burrow and Caleb Williams. So we are done at quarterback.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you would have to get like Brock Purdy in the last round. First to think about quarterback.
We're almost, I would say effectively we're kind of done at tight end too.
Yes. At tight end now, we're looking for a tight end that fits. So we're looking for Mike Gesicki or Cole Kmet to go with our quarterbacks. Dulcich, I'm out on for Denver. Noah Fant to go against Caleb Williams. Or Dalton Schultz to go with Mark Andrews.
And the Schultz is just going to be so much more expensive than those other guys.
Correct. Paul says, got to get on a wide receiver now, though. That is absolutely right. Like,
yep.
Excuse me, Kat. Thank you. If we take a look at the draft board here, so our wide receiver 4 is Rome Odunze, right? Let's find somebody who just went bonkers at wide receiver. The guy in the 112, his wide receiver 4 is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Now, he just lost his mind at running back with Rachaad White, Kenneth Walker, Najee Harris, and Jalen Warren. So
he lost all the edge he had.
Unless he stops. If he only goes with those 4 running backs, maybe a 5th one super late, that could actually end up being kind of sexy. But if he takes 6, 7 running backs, he actually did give up all of his edge. Let's see what he does here on this turn. I'm so curious what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Because he has the red badge. So he and I are the only 2, or there's only 3 red badges in this room. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 no badges. So that's nice. I have the only goat horns, although they're optional. So
he took Goddard.
See, I don't like taking Goddard there because, like, what you don't have, you can't get Jalen Hurts. You can't have CeeDee Lamb. You can't have Dak because Philly plays Dallas week 17, as I'm sure you knew.
Yeah, I know all these things.
Yeah. So like I really don't like Goddard there. I don't. And then he takes Romeo Dubs as his wide receiver 5. So he takes like the 4th best receiver on the Packers. I think he kind of lost the plot. I think he started out good, and I think he kind of lost the plot there a little bit. Who else here? Guy in the middle, Amon-Ra, Ayuk, Tank Dell, Xavier Worthy. That's a strong 4 wide receivers.
Look at team 3. Tyreek Hill, Debo.
Tyreek Hill, Debo, Jalen Waddle, Christian Kirk. Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas. He understood the assignment. All right, we're coming back up here. Get another 4 picks. We'll be at the we're a little past the halfway mark. See, this is how fast they're supposed to go, Scott.
This is nice.
Yeah, like before. So I think first glance at what's coming up here, Chase Brown seems pretty strong.
Yep.
Part of our stack, pass catcher, running back.
Did Khalil Shakir just get drafted?
Yes. Because it's unknown in Buffalo, right? Like what wide receiver emerges there?
Yeah, for sure.
It ain't going to be MBS. Okay, Chase Brown is still on the board. The only other person I see here that I'm thinking maybe is Jerry Jeudy, but he goes way later. So I think Chase Brown.
Good.
Yep. So I'm glad we didn't take Zach Moss and we took Chase Brown instead. But Paul's losing his mind because we're not taking wide receivers. When it comes back around to us, Jerry Jeudy to go with Amari Cooper is good. Because remember, stacks with the quarterback are fine. Right?
Yeah,
in fact,
I think Adonai Mitchell might be a really interesting pick, too.
Who'd you say that? Who'd you say?
Adonai Mitchell.
Yes, I think A.D. Mitchell is also a decent pick, and he will be a better value than Jeudy at that point, but he doesn't really fit our team, and we're kind of already betting on Cleveland by taking Amari Cooper.
Okay. Then
so, like,
Jeudy it is.
Right. If Deshaun Watson is horrible again, Amari Cooper is in trouble. If Deshaun Watson is really good, then Jerry Jeudy's probably going to benefit, right?
Yeah. Is there any tight ends at all that are like, no way should he be here?
Schultz is right there. Schultz is right on the button. So if we take Dalton Schultz here, we will be going another almost 2 rounds without adding another wide receiver.
I don't think we should do that. I don't think we can do that.
If we do that, this is a 5 running back team at most, maybe 4. So
we have Andrews. I think squeezing in Schultz just to do it is almost reckless.
A little too cute by half. Okay. So then, all right, I will actually let you pick. Either one is actually fine for various reasons. A.D. Mitchell or Jerry Jeudy. You pick.
Jeudy.
We'll go with Jerry Jeudy. Now, you want to know what's going to happen here? Deshaun Watson is going to crater down this board.
Yeah, because nobody can stack him with anybody. We have them.
Njoku. Let's go to the board and see who has Njoku. Where are you? Right here. The Njoku guy has no quarterbacks yet. He's going to take Watson at a reasonable price. He's also looking to take Will Levis because he's got the Tennessee double. He's got 2 Chiefs with no Mahomes. He's got 3 Eagles to start. Okay, that's all right, sir. That's decent. That's a decent team.
What are our running backs looking like right now? I know we have H. Pollard Brown.
Yep.
Okay.
Charbonnet would be excellent because if he falls to us, it'd be a good value, and we need somebody on Seattle against Chicago in Week 17. And after him, it's just Noah Fant.
See, this is where I thought we might be able to push A.D. Mitchell around down the board and get him next round.
If A.D. Mitchell makes it all the way back to us, I would be shocked because the Anthony Richardson person, it doesn't necessarily need to have a stack yet. because you can take Richardson naked, so you don't need to have JT or Michael Pittman to take him. So the Richardson person could be sitting out there. In fact, let's see here. Who's got Richardson? The Richardson person has Pittman and Hurts and an unstacked Jalen Hurts. Okay, so the Lamar person is unstacked. The Hurts person is unstacked. The Mahomes person is only stacked with Worthy. The Allen person is still currently unstacked. We might actually get a room where all the best quarterbacks are unstacked or weakly stacked.
Which we would obviously be thrilled by.
That would be fantastic. Who had Richardson? This guy.
10?
And they took 10? Yeah, 11. And they took Brandon Cooks with A.D. Mitchell and Downs still on the board. Thank you for your donation to the prize pool, Queen Peen.
Okay. Maybe it's a little bit of what you said. It's a one team only, so let's just do it bizarre kind of thing.
Bizarre and bad are different, though.
Yeah.
Okay, we're up with one pick. Assuming Charbonnet, Mitchell, and Downs are all still there, who do you want?
Probably Mitchell. I mean, I think that in a scenario where Kenny Walker gets injured, Charbonnet could go bananas there.
Charbonnet with one pick before us. Okay. Mitchell or Downs?
Mitchell. I think Downs is a very, very defined role within that offense.
So we took A.D. Mitchell because he was 22 spots past ADP, which is worth a lot, right? It means that we're making the bet on A.D. Mitchell for an average of 22 picks cheaper than the field.
Yep.
And it's, of course, the same bet. So we will take that. In a vacuum, I think Josh Downs is a much better pick than A.D. Mitchell. And I don't know why he goes so far behind him.
Agreed. Sometimes I think the possession types who aren't super explosive are looked at just side-eyed almost,
Is Josh Downs not explosive though?
He's tiny. So like Pittman's big and he's fast, and A.D. Mitchell's big and fast and all those things. And I think they just expect those guys to be the vertical guys.
Is there what is the fundamental difference in all seriousness between Josh Downs and Ladd McConkey?
Ladd McConkey is a significantly better route runner overall than Downs. Significantly better. I think Ladd McConkey can play outside as opposed to
we're on the clock. We're on the clock. And to me, it's a two-person discussion. Stacked with the quarterback. Cole Kmet at tight end, 9 picks after ADP, or Jermaine Burton about at ADP. And we need wide receiver. Either one's actually fine.
I'm going Burton because I think we can get tight end late.
100%. 100%. You are exactly right. So now we've got both quarterbacks double stacked and the double stack on Cleveland and the bet on A.D. Mitchell. So while I think our wide receiver room is weaker than some of our opponents, the bets are more narrow. We're like Cincinnati, Chicago, Cleveland. You guys be good at offense. We win the money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and then let's just fill it out.
Yep. So we're not going to be up again to pick for quite a while. Now, Kmet there would have been fine being so far after ADP and stacked with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
He would have been a fine pick there as well. So I don't think there was a right or a wrong there. I do see a running back coming up that I think we need to target. Let's go back to the draft board here.
We still just have 3?
We still just have 3. And we're probably going with 5. So we're going running back, tight end, wide receiver, not that order.
Yeah.
But with like what's available with the picks we have left, we could go with just 4 running backs if the 4th one is the exact right type of guy.
Yeah.
Okay. The guy who needed quarterbacks, well, Trevor Lawrence and Gabe Davis, and then Kirk Cousins to Drake London. And then he had Kupp and Nakua without Stafford.
Where did Hawkinson go in this draft?
Hawkinson went pick 131. So he's starting to fall down boards. I have not touched him because I don't think he's going to play until like week 12.
I know, but I love the idea of him showing up in week, 15, 16, and 17 and just rocking.
I do too, but he's too expensive still for that. Right? If he was down in this range, if he was down here with these yahoos, Ben Sinnott, Jawan Johnson,
yeah,
Antonio Gibson, right now, let me take some flyers on TJ Hawkinson. But as it is at pick, what did I say, 131?
Yeah, so it's like pick round 12?
Yeah,
round
so
11?
with Gabe Davis, Brandon Cooks, Zeke, Tyjae Spears, Dalton Schultz, Darnell Mooney, Dontavian Wicks. There's just a lot of players I'm always going to take there instead of him. Specifically, Dontavian Wicks. Okay, we're coming back up in 5 picks. We have a lot of good options coming up here. Who do you think? Who are you looking at right now on this board?
Maybe McLaughlin.
So I think McLaughlin is a really cool choice because they play Cincinnati in week 17.
Yeah.
But look who's right after McLaughlin, the next 2 names.
Yeah, it's the 2 receivers. Yeah.
Mims and Franklin.
Yeah. I'd probably want Mims.
Well, McLaughlin just went off the board. So Mims or Franklin, you pick.
I mean, which one do you think? I mean, Mims has been there a year, but they've changed. But it's, you know what I mean? It's like new quarterback. Do we benefit? I know we're on the clock.
Pick one.
Do we benefit of having the Knicks and
4,
Franklin?
3.
Franklin.
Troy Franklin. Okay, and just like that, we have 8 wide receivers.
And just gambling on Knicks and Franklin's sort of connection.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's perfectly fine. I think that both of them are probably going to be busts, honestly.
Yeah, no.
But like,
yeah.
if one of them isn't, which one is more likely to not be? Probably the rookie.
Yeah, I mean, to this point, Mims has been. So,
yeah, and he's had opportunities. The same coaching staff drafted him. Receivers generally don't take a year now. So if we had, at this point, we're guessing which one of these guys is going to matter week 17, I think Franklin is a perfectly fine bet. Now, we still have, we still need another tight end. We still need at least one more running back, maybe 2. Anybody jumping out to you here that you can see? To me, there's 2. But there's really just one. Well, it's a little early, but still. By rank, it's good.
The tight end?
Khalil Herbert.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we look at Noah Fant, he goes at 186. We're at 172. There's a chance we get Noah Fant as well. Now, by ADP, Khalil Herbert goes at 183. We took a pick 173. By my ranks, he's at 171. The later you get in the draft, the less beholden to ADP you have to be because each pick is worth less, right? Like if it was an auction draft, these are all like $2 and $1 picks.
Sure. Yeah, but for us, there's value in it because of our stacks.
Correct. Also, Khalil Herbert is just way too cheap. He's the best running back on Chicago.
Yeah, and the only problem is they're not going to use him much in the passing game because Swift is going to get all that. But
to
who
start.
cares?
But by the time we really care, DeAndre Swift will have 19 hamstring pulls.
Pull away, young man.
Right? Like,
That sounds terrible. But
so I think Herbert is good.
so we're looking for a running back, a tight end, and a receiver, correct?
So we have 3 picks left. Right? So we definitely need at least one more running back and a tight end. And then we have one that we can kind of play with.
Okay, because we have 8 receivers.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
So to me, though, actually, I was joking about it. No, we'll push it one more time. I think Noah Fant is a must-take with the next pick. We need a tight end. He's the tight end one on his team. He plays Chicago in week 17. I mean,
okay.
Now we're just hoping he makes it to us because he fits every single thing we're looking for in a tight end too to go with Mark Andrews.
And when are we up?
We are up.
7?
We got a little ways yet.
Okay.
Yet.
Is there anybody on the board here with this last pick where you would feel like, all right, this is off the radar kind of stuff, but like, is there a player that you like that I'm not even talking correlation or stacking or any of that stuff, but like,
Well, with 18th round picks, I do think focusing on stacking and correlation is smart. For one, it leads to natural diversification within your picks, right? And also you keep the bet narrow.
Yeah.
By correlating, right? You keep betting on the same similar, this is what we're going for, right? Like we made the bet that in week 17, Chicago at Seattle is the game.
Yeah, I'm just looking
at even worse. Seattle at Chicago, 41-38.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, money. I'm looking at like Jonnu Smith in this scenario, thinking, we have a piece of that offense.
We do.
Do we want to? Actually, there is a tight end that I'd be intrigued by, but you're going to hate it. Here comes the one veto, Isaiah Likely.
I hate it.
I know,
because in the money weeks,
the offer does nothing.
One shot.
The offer says nothing unless Andrews gets hurt.
Noah Fant is at ADP. He's a tight end one on his team. We need a tight end. He plays one of our stats in week 17.
Draft him.
Noah Fant. This is one of those cases where like there is actually a right answer. A lot of times here, it's more of a flow chart. If I do this, then that means I just kind of have to do this later. That's a right answer situation. I also think there's a right answer for our next pick.
Give me a clue.
It's Dante Foreman.
Okay.
Right. We're betting on Cleveland already. We need a running back.
Are we? Obviously, Chubb's gone and Jerome Ford is gone.
And Chubb might not just be gone in this draft. Chubb might be gone.
I'm positive Chubb had to have gotten drafted, right?
Oh, yeah. Chubb got drafted. I have 0% Chubb.
But is he returning to a level of play where he's going to hold these guys off? I don't know.
Is he returning, period?
I don't know.
There is another running back I would hear an argument for that is currently – there's actually 2 more on the screen I'd hear an argument for. So, Dante Foreman, Elijah Mitchell,
Keaton Mitchell. Yeah. Keaton Mitchell to me is a best ball dream.
Even though he won't be around at the start of the year, we only have 5 running backs.
But we're talking about weeks 15, 16, 17.
Keaton Mitchell it is. I think by taking Keaton Mitchell there, our play around pick is probably going to be in a running back.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Like Gesicki, we don't need, but it's the very last round. And if in week 16, he's the one that catches 2 touchdowns, Jamar Chase doesn't do shit. Without him, we lose. With him, we sneak Chase into the next round, right?
Sure.
So he's in play. Same logic. Elijah Moore, just keep the bet on Cleveland going.
Yeah.
You asked what sort of players down here I like in general. I kind of like Jalen Hyatt because I think by week 17, Drew Lock is going to be the quarterback, and he loves to just unleash the dragon.
He does.
He loves to just chuck that thing down the field. And he plays against Baltimore and Indy in the playoff weeks for us, right?
What do you think about Dortch?
I like Greg Dortch, but we don't have any Cardinals. He doesn't play. We don't have anybody that he plays in the playoffs. So This is not a build I would take him.
Okay.
Right? If Hyatt didn't play the people we have already in the playoffs, I probably wouldn't be thinking about him right here either. Who else is down here? Malik Washington could be interesting.
Yeah.
Since we already have a Dolphin. If we really wanted to swing on tight end, either of the giant tight ends could be a huge bet, but I don't think with Andrews we need to do that. If our tight end one was like Njoku, then maybe we'll look at something like that. Estime for the Denver running back.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
He could be.
Again, I'm off Dulcich and Woods until we get word they're actually like part of the team.
Yeah.
Darren Waller's going to retire. We're not taking Justice Hill. Yoshi Vash would have been interesting before Jermaine Burton. Eric All would be interesting without Gesicki in the way. So I think these are the players that we're going to be looking at here.
And we're in round
18. This is it. It's our last pick.
Okay.
So we have Eli Mitchell is our final running back, or Estime as our final running back. Jalen Hyatt or Malik Washington at wide receiver. Mike Gesicki at tight end. I think all these players fit for various reasons on our team. Which ones do you kind of jump out?
I kind of like Mitchell, but I would understand not wanting another running back.
Well, I think anybody put on this list makes enough sense, either by cost, correlation, whatever, that they're viable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Mitchell might go right here. This guy's only got 5 backs. So, so you think Mitchell even more than Estime?
I think that in a scenario where McCaffrey misses a little bit of time, Mitchell is super valuable for our team.
Aren't you worried about Isaac Garendo?
No.
No, me either.
No.
You mean Tyrion Davis Price? No, I'm not either.
Yeah, I'm not all that concerned. Because we know what he's done in the past.
Elijah Mitchell at 13 at a full round of ADP as running back. Hello.
Yeah.
It is not my turn to pick. Well, he's top of the queue, so it better be Eli Mitchell. And if it's not at CEH, that's so weird. Why is it not registering my pick? Oh, well. We'll wait for it to pop up here on the screen. Hello. There he goes. All right, Eli Mitchell.
So we went 2, 6, 8, 2?
Yep.
Okay.
So we go 2, 6, 8, 2. Here's our final team. Our final team. Where do we draft the 4th spot? So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it from the roster here. At quarterback, Joe Burrow and Caleb Williams. There was a spot in this draft where Deshaun Watson fell so far.
Yeah.
He actually almost made sense. Pull it back up here. He almost made sense. We went with Fant because it was so perfect.
Yeah.
But if after the Fant pick, if Watson had fallen to who we take there instead? Who we take after Fant? Keaton Mitchell. We would have taken Deshaun Watson just because, like, how cheap do you get? Joe Burrow, Caleb Williams. We have both of them double stacked. We have Jamar Chase and Jermaine Burton to go with Joe Burrow. We have DJ Moore and Rome Odunze to go with Caleb Williams. I love both of those. Those are both absolutely fantastic. I think we undoubtedly have the wide receiver one for Chicago. I don't see it being Keenan Allen, and especially not at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, fantastic. At running back, we go with Devon Achane, Tony Pollard, Chase Brown, Khalil Herbert, Keaton Mitchell, and Elijah Mitchell.
We need a lot of things to go right for us.
But the thing is, they will go right for us. Or they're going to go wrong for us. But, like, the running back position is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Think about where these players got drafted last year. Achane, round 12. Pollard, round 2. Chase Brown, 18. Khalil Herbert, round 11. Keaton Mitchell, undrafted. Elijah Mitchell, round 6. Now look where they are this year.
Yeah.
A running back is the craziest position. So, but we have I think the running back one for the Dolphins. The running back one for the Titans.
And it's, again, with every one of these guys, you would hate it if you had to figure out sit-start stuff with them.
Yes.
Well, we don't have to, so it's good.
Exactly. I think of the running back one for the Bengals. We have the best running back of the Bears. Swift is the RB1 there. We're not gonna cap about that, but Herbert is the best running back on the Bears. Keaton Mitchell is a late season coming towards the end of the year, hit the ground running. Derrick Henry hits a wall. Here we go. And then Eli Mitchell is, if CMC gets hurt, if CMC tore his ACL tomorrow, where does Elijah Mitchell go in drafts?
Really, really early.
Yes. Round 3.
Yes. Or sooner.
Yeah. So that's kind of the bet right there. The thing is, we don't need a serious injury to CMC.
No.
Right? We just need him to not play him as much because Mitchell was so cheap as the very last pick. Right? Mitchell just needs to get 30% of the touches and get one start in the playoff weeks.
Yeah.
And he pays for himself. Mentioned our stacks at wide receiver with Chase and Burton, Moore and Odunze. We also stacked Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy from Cleveland. So we're kind of betting on the Deshaun Watson bounce back without having to have Deshaun Watson, which honestly feels pretty good.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, because we don't need to root for him necessarily.
Yeah.
Right? And hey, maybe he goes to prison and they bring back Joe Flacco. And it works out again. We also have, who else do we have here? Oh, we took A.D. Mitchell and Troy Franklin, 2 rookies. 4 out of our 8 wide receivers are rookies, which gives me the warm fuzzies inside. I think A.D. Mitchell is a risky bet where he goes, but we got him 22 picks after ADP.
Yeah.
That's almost 2 full rounds. So that makes the bet a lot more palatable to me. And then Jermaine Burton is the wide receiver 3 in Cincinnati. But this is where Tyler Boyd has been going all these years. He was always fine.
Yeah, and he's so different than Boyd. I could see him being wide receiver 2, potentially in that offense.
Yeah, and now
depends on what happens with Higgins, but
yeah, and Jermaine Burton, as we've mentioned on the show before, we know he's got some character red flags around him. It might be why he slipped to the NFL draft a little bit. But when you're already betting so heavy on the Bengals, he's a worthwhile bet to make at cost here. And then we have the Troy Franklin versus Marvin Mims decision. And to me, I love Marvin Mims so much. And in our personal dynasty league, I chose to keep him over Will Levis, which is a disastrous decision in hindsight. So I would really like if Marvin Mims worked out, but Troy Franklin played with Bo Nix. He's a rookie. He ran way slower than we wanted at the combine, but do you think he actually runs a 4.61? No. Or what do you run, a 4.48? I don't know. He ran slow for his weight. He weighed at like 169 or 171 and then ran a 4.49 or something.
Yeah, I don't think he's slow at all. At all. So
I certainly did not get that impression watching him at Oregon.
No, not at all. And I like the chemistry those two have together. If Franklin emerges into a starting kind of position, which is a Peyton thing, we'll see what happens there. He can be productive. He could be with Nix.
Somebody, I forget who it was. Somebody from The Athletic, I think, was basically saying that Peyton is just running back the 2017 Saints, if by style, if not by talent. So like you have like the sort of undersized, not super athletic, but good quarterback. Cortland Sutton is now Michael Thomas. Troy Franklin is Devery Henderson. Marvin Mims is Robert Meacham. Jaleel McLaughlin is Pierre Thomas. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
just putting it all back together there. And then at tight end, we take Mark Andrews, Reddit ADP, which again, the player who had Lamar Jackson but didn't have Zay Flowers, passed on Mark Andrews at cost. That is a devastating mistake to me. Because if Lamar Jackson is who you need him to be, Mark Andrews is coming along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
and I'm sure
I feel like we kind of stole that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother going look. I'm sure he added Rashad Bateman and Isaiah Likely and some other Ravens players, and that's fine if you take Lamar and you don't have the chance to get Flowers or Andrews, but don't pass on Flowers or Andrews if you have Lamar.
Yeah.
And then our last tight end and our last player, we have Noah Fant. They paid him. Will Dissly is gone. Colby Parkinson is gone. New coaching staff in there. He's the tight end one, and again, he plays against Chicago when the money's on the line.
Yeah.
So,
good.
Yeah, I think this is a really solid team. And I think you, sir, should start drafting some best ball teams.
No.
Yes, I think with this practice, maybe not a $35 single entry, but some $5 puppies, some stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think you could. I think you could do it. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No. I hope it was fun for everybody. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck to you, sir.
Hope it was educational for everybody. Hope you have a chance to play an underdog, play some of these tournaments. Don't fall behind at wide receiver. Don't pass Lamar Jackson stacking partners, and don't draft 8 running backs.
There you go.
All right.
We will see everybody
in 2 weeks. Peace.